Guys, look at this. Donald Trump is using his last days in the White House to make Biden's task a little bit harder. He is locking in policies and making it more difficult for Joe Biden to, when he steps in office. It says at a wide range of departments and agencies, Mr. Trump political appointees are going to extraordinary lengths to try and prevent Mr. Biden from rolling back the president's legacy. What legacy? What legacy is what I want to know. It says Washington voters have decided the president-elect Joseph Biden Jr. should guide the country through the next 4 years, but on issues of war, the environment, criminal justice, trade, and the economy, and more, President Trump and top administrative officials are doing what they can to make changing direction more difficult. Man, Donald Trump need to get off that mess. He too old to be throwing hissy fit. It says Mr. Trump has spent the last 2 weeks hunkered down in the White House, raging about a lost election and refusing to accept the reality of his loss. But in other ways, he is acting as if he knows he will be departing soon and showing none of the difference that presidents traditionally give to their successors in their final days. Lord have mercy. I knew it was something wrong with him. Mr. Trump has, during the past 4 years, Mr. Trump has spent much time thinking about policies, but he has shown a penchant for striking back at his adversaries. Yep, just like a child throwing hissy fit. And with his encouragement, top officials are racing against the clock to withdraw troops from Afghanistan, secure oil drillings, leases in Alaska, punish China, carry out executions, and thwart any plans Mr. Biden might have to reestablish the Iran nuclear deal. Lord have mercy. In some cases, like the execution and oil leases, Mr. Trump's government plans to act just days or even hours before Biden is inaugurated on January 20th. Can't they lock him up in a room somewhere? At a wide range of departments and agencies, Mr. Trump political appointees are going to extraordinary lengths to try to prevent Mr. Biden from rolling back Trump's legacy. What legacy? 4 years of racism? 4 years of the Proud Boys? The only thing he ever did was where he did release a man from prison, was to send out those stimulus checks. And he needs to send out some more stimulus checks before he leave office. It says, in the last instance, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin declined to extend key emergency lending programs that the Federal Reserve has been using to help keep credit flowing to businesses, state and local governments, and other parts of the financial system. They need to find him, Steve Mnuchin, and whoop his butt. He also moved to claw back much of the money that supports them, hindering Mr. Biden's ability to use the central bank's vast powers to cushion the economic fallout from the virus. Now that's just low down. You know what they should do? Joe Biden, when he get in office, he need to freeze all their bank accounts. That's what he need to do, because this just don't make no sense. Terry Sullivan, a professor of political science and the executive director of the White House Transition Project, a nonpartisan group which has studied political transitions for decades, said Mr. Trump is was not behaving like past presidents who cared about how their final days in office were. Of course he ain't gonna behave like a past president. He didn't even behave like a president. They are up in tension in Iran, which could lead to a confrontation. The economy is tanking and they are doing nothing about unemployment benefits, he said. And one final norm shattered by Mr. Trump in a stark contrast to the last Republican president who handed over to a Democrat. That was when Bush handed over to Barack Obama. Donald Trump, will you please get your tail somewhere and sit down? You done did enough. You done infected the whole new United States with the coronavirus when you could have prevented it. You could have closed the borders and stopped letting those Chinese people in. But because you was building a hotel over there in China, you just opened the doors and just let them all in. And now the whole new United States is infected with a virus. Will you please sit your tail down somewhere until it's time for you to get out of the office on January 20th? Do us all that much. Do us that kind of favor. Sit your tail down until it's time for you to leave the White House. Thank you and good night.